Well, no wonder you have to send it in once a year at a considerable cost to have this thing calibrated and any bad parts replaced. It has a very inexpensive circuit board laid out by hand, and it has a decent meter movement. It has a custom dial, a standard d'Arsonval movement. Now this arm here, I think it's colloquially known as a tone arm, turns this pot. This is the balance between the resistance that is detected between the two can electrodes and the rest of the circuit. When this resistance equals the body that is holding onto these hands, you get 0 on the meter. That's all there is to it. Now let's go ahead and analyze the circuit board from what I can see. Oh, this is an interesting feature. Right here we have 3 transistors, and from the numbers on them, they are germanium. Well, transistors have not been made out of germanium since the early 60s. So this is quite an archaic design. And I notice they've got one, mainly because germanium transistors are extremely temperature sensitive and they drift. I see how they've attempted to compensate for that. They've attached another germanium transistor that is in contact with the front panel, which is basically at room temperature, and it stabilizes the circuit and keeps it from drifting. If they were to use a modern instrumentation amplifier or any other silicone type devices, then this would not have to be done. A little bit of background on myself. I am an electronics engineer. I worked in aerospace. I have worked on missile parts, jet fighter parts, and I know what is precision and what is not. This is not precision. This is Radio Shack stuff. This is Radio Shack parts, literally. Understand that this particular unit could be purchased in the early 80s for around $700 to $800. And from looking in here, we've got about $25 or $30 worth of components. Now, considering the quality of this nice wooden case, I understand that it was manufactured and assembled by slave labor. Because when you have slave labor, you can do very intricate things at no cost. Something that's very labor intensive, you can just write that right off the bill of materials because it doesn't cost you anything to do it. So looking at this, we have a couple of adjustments. I guess that's what happens when you send it into the qualifications division. They fiddle with the adjustments and make sure it's working, and probably spray some contact cleaner on the different controls here. And that, I believe that costs upward of $250, $300, and you have to do it once a year. That's another hidden cost that the Corporation of Scientology wants you to put out. Money, extra money. They actually make money on maintaining your e-meter, which actually, as simple as it is, really does not require maintenance, since this one is well over 25 years old and is functioning perfectly.
Until a Thetan came along and started to monkey with this dead body, see? Maybe bring it back to life or do something with it. But whatever he did with it, it would change the characteristics of this resistor.
Now, I was thinking about completely wrecking it. I've got the tools here to saw it in half dramatically. I think I'll do what a gun collector does. If you have a favorite firearm that you want to keep and it's illegal, well, you file the firing pin off. We will now proceed to disable this device so that it will no longer be used in programming human minds. Now that we've disconnected the NiCad battery, it can harm no one. I think we'll go a step further and we'll disconnect the electrode jack. Now, and might as well go even further. Let's just cut this non-standard hazardous AC cord off too. Now, it is now inert and harmless. It still has all the features. It is physically still exists. So this is an artifact of an obsolete technology. The only reason we had to disable it is because of what it's used for. The equipment itself is quite benign. It's just an amplified Wheatstone bridge. The transistors amplify, and oh, by the way, this is very similar, in fact if not exactly the same, as one channel of a polygraph machine, except that you have this multiplying knob. You turn it up to 128, which makes it 128 times more sensitive than any polygraph. It's good for detecting lies. Now, what it seems to actually detect by holding on to the cans, the inventor, or the advocate of this unit, or the inventor, says that this will, by completing the circuit with these two cans, it will tell you mental mass and emotional charge. Well, actually, what it does is quite simple, quite basic. When you're asked questions, or if you're being given commands to think about things and steering your attention, the muscles in your hands and arms and upper body involuntarily contract and move. You don't even know that you're actually having these little minute muscle contractions clear from your fingertips across your upper body down to your other fingertips. So any minor muscle contraction is going to indicate on this meter. So basically it measures a flinch.
And it was pretty good. The only thing wrong with that meter is it pours one wham of a current through a pre-clear. Actually, an oscilloscope for the 880 techniques, just a plain, ordinary, run-of-the-mill laboratory test bench oscilloscope, is hotter than an E-meter. But those are rather dear. They are rather expensive, and they're quite fragile in numerous ways. And they give you so much more than what you want.
No mental mass, no emotional charge, just the fact that you might have grabbed the cans a little tighter or moved a muscle or jerked. No one that I know of can beat that, can fool it, because your muscles twitch involuntarily. They have small electrical signals that when they contract, this would then register on this dial. Now, the purported use of this would be to make sure that a command or suggestion, as in hypnotism, had taken effect. Because when you no longer have these little involuntary twitches and muscle contractions, you are in a hypnotic trance. So this measures your amount of, basically measures how well you are in a hypnotic trance. Not emotional charge, not mental image pictures, as it is purportedly told to detect. That's the reason I'm handling it with, I mean, I don't want my fingerprints on it. Anyway, there is the Hubbard electropsychometer. I hope this has been educational and informative. And we're going to put it back together. It has been neutered and lobotomized, so it cannot be used for any insidious purpose other than a Wheatstone bridge. which has been outdated, far outdated, by the standard digital multimeter